Hey YouTube, it's Metagross Freak and welcome back. Now in the last couple videos I've done, Pokemon videos on Steel type and Electric type and Ghost type, but today I'm going to have something interesting. Now, in the original first generation, everyone knew about the birds and everyone knew about Mewtwo, and then when they revealed Mew, after the around the same time as Mewtwo Strikes Back, everyone knew that Mewtwo was a clone of Mew. However, just by typing in Mew is Ditto, we can see about 804 results on YouTube about various theories that, that clone of Mew. And although, as you can see, there's been a lot of videos about this, I'm going to be covering not only this theory, but another theory as well, which I'll address in a minute. So, in case you're unfamiliar with the Mew Ditto theory, we know that Mew is the basis of the clone Mewtwo, and that Ditto has a very interesting relationship with Mew and Mewtwo. First of all, both Mew and Ditto are about a foot high, or about 0.3-ish meters tall. They both weigh 8.8 pounds, and while Ditto is a pinkish purple, Mew is also pink. And they also have their catch rate is also quite similar, and their shiny forms are both blue. Not only that, but Ditto has 48 for all of its base stats, while Mew has 100 for all of its base stats. Last but not least, both Pokemon are genderless, so they have quite an interesting relationship. Not only that, but the two places Mew can be found are in the Cinnabar Lab, which is the lab known to have research on Mew, and in Cerulean Cave, where Mewtwo lies, where it lies in wait for your trainer. And the closer you get to it, on the first level or two, it's an 11% chance of finding a Ditto, while in 25% chance on the level where Mewtwo is actually found. In fact, I don't know if you can see on the Cinnabar Island photo, so I blew it up for you here. As you can see in the two large red sections, I have actually circled a Ditto. Now there's actually a third artwork in Fire Red and Leaf Green, depending on what time of day it is, that actually shows up with a magneton. But the fact that 2/3 of their entry shots have Dittos mean that Ditto is obviously a very special Pokemon in relationship to Mew and Mewtwo. Now, of course, we have to keep in mind that Mewtwo isn't a perfect clone. In fact, as you can see, based on Mew is has very many features similar to an embryo. And if we look at baby Mewtwo from the Origin of Mewtwo video, baby Mewtwo actually looks not that much like Mew. It has many similarities to large offspring syndrome, which you can read the description below. But basically, large offspring syndrome is a syndrome in cloned animals in which certain organs are larger or more prominent, or just malformed. This could explain Mewtwo's more muscular mass, his bizarrely large orb-like fingers, and even the second neck. Now, if we look at Mew and Mewtwo, Mew being is, we know that Mewtwo is larger, and we can explain this possibly through large offspring syndrome, but also keep in mind that Mewtwo was genetically engineered to be fit for battle. If we look at their stats, Mewtwo has an improvement over all of his base stats, except for defense and special defense. Now, although I'm just playing around with some theory here, you could say that Mewtwo's heightened attack, special attack, and speed are because it was genetically engineered for battle. However, the problem with some clones is that clones are often more sickly, and they don't always have as good of an immune system as the original. This would make sense especially in Mewtwo, because he has less defense and special defense. Not only in addition with cloning, is there's a worry that if clones are independent, they might have their own personalities. This is evidenced obviously because Mew is very peaceful and fun-loving, while Mew is angry. And in Generation 2 only, there was a 50% chance Mewtwo would have an item called a Berserk gene, which would basically function as if someone used the move Swagger on it. It would boost attack but cause confusion. So the berserkness, the impaired defense, these are both evident, and these are both side effects that could happen from cloning. Not only that, while Mew is a pink, Mewtwo is, the gray and the purple, and even Shiny Mew is blue, while Shiny Mewtwo is green. So even though he's a clone, he's imperfect because he does not match, even appearance-wise, he does not match. Let's see. There is, however, an interesting theory with Ditto. Now, as we know, Ditto can, change his form to look like any Pokemon, seen by the trading card arts on the right, and with the Pikachu anime work on the left, where it looks almost identical to Pikachu, except that there's something wrong with the face. This is because this could be because Ditto can't perfectly copy things. This might suggest that Ditto doesn't have Ditto's natural ability to copy DNA of other Pokemon is incomplete, possibly because it doesn't have complete DNA itself. DeviantArt user Esapibe, although he currently isn't making anything new, has an interesting series on his DeviantArt that you can read, which is the codename M3W series. That is about that he wrote about failed clones of Mew. Specifically, his main character being M9, which was the clone before M10, which in his story was our Mewtwo. If you can't see the artwork on, I'm sorry that the little text box is covering it, but if you can't see the artwork on the top right and in the bottom right, you'll be seeing those later. Other deviant artists have stories where the scientist seen in Mewtwo Strikes Back tries to clone Mew, and that all of the Mews, when testing out Transform, are losing their shape, breaking down and melting, and all that was left was Dittos. Again, here's the artwork from the codename M3W series, where we have Mewtwo clones dissolving and falling apart in a horrific fashion. This is because Mewtwo's DNA wasn't perfect. So theoretically, you could say that if Mewtwo, based on these two, if Mewtwo's DNA was imperfect and parts were falling off and possibly even turning into Dittos, you could say that Mewtwo, that basically failed Mewtwo attempts based on these artworks, and even the idea that Mew and Ditto has an interesting relationship with Mew, you could theorize that not only is Ditto failed clones of Mew, but that they're actually dissolved clones of Mewtwo, just because the DNA couldn't hold together long enough. One of the most interesting artworks, the one I've seen most recently, is this one. It's kind of a little graphic, but if you look at it, Mew up above on the left has kind of an embryonic look, which is how Mew is supposed. I believe how Mew is supposed to look. Well, Mewtwo has grown. Now, this can also be evidence that Mewtwo is a failed clone. After all, if Mew is the first Pokemon in existence and it hasn't grown up, and yet Mewtwo, in its far shorter lifespan, has grown to what should be a full adult, then obviously Mewtwo has a growing gene that Mew doesn't, which means the cloning process isn't perfect either. As you can see with this artwork, there are what look to be purple blobs coming off of the tail, which if you look closely enough actually have little eyes, implying that those are Dittos. It's kind of weird to think about, but possibly it's just parts of Mewtwo that are falling off due to his imperfect clone. So that's my theory about Mew, Mewtwo, and Ditto. You're welcome to think whatever you want, but based on this evidence I've seen, it would appear that not only is Ditto a failed clones of Mew, but that possibly even that Mewtwo clones that failed are slowly dissolving and falling apart due to their imperfect DNA structure and turning into dissolved bits of life form, which we know is Ditto, and possibly one of the reasons why Ditto is constantly trying to turn into other Pokemon is to try to repair the DNA so can try to be whole again and turn back into the great monstrosity that is Mewtwo. So, until next time, I'm Metagross Freak, and if you have any requests for a video that you would like to see, or you just want to leave a comment telling me, whether you thought I did a good job or a crappy job, please leave a comment below, and I'd love to hear back from you. So, I'm Metagross Freak, and thanks for watching.